personally don't know if I would put myself in that situation. I mean, I think even card-carrying skeptics like myself might be a little bit nervous about doing what you're taking on. I do think there's an element of danger to it, and I'd be careful.
My views haven't changed on the Ramin. I do believe it's still haunted. Whatever attacked me that night, I believe it's still there. I do believe it's still there. I don't believe it's gonna go.
Higgypop is on the road, approaching Gloucestershire and one of the most haunted locations in the UK. I don't normally do this, I don't normally film investigations, but I was given a unique opportunity to go to the ancient Ramin completely on my own and spend the night, which just seemed like the perfect opportunity to go there, really connect with the building and see what I could experience. What will it be like spending the night at the ancient Ramin in the dark? Will I last a night? I'm literally hoping to stay there all night and sleep there. So we will see really. It's I think it's an endurance test as much as a test of my paranormal investigation abilities. I am kind of nervous about it because I've never spent the night alone in a building like this before, and I think any building you're unfamiliar with, if you're there in the dark, it would be creepy. And the ancient Ramin has that vibe anyway, so I think it could be challenging. The ancient Ramin, a place where history whispers from every corner and ghosts, it is said, are more than mere tales. Originally known as the Old Tan House, later Horsepool House, and since 1820 the Ramin, it has stood since around 1200 and is today the oldest building in Wootton-under-Edge. The inn's history is a rich tapestry of transformation, from a simple timber-framed house to a pub and finally a hub for ghost hunters. In 1968, the legendary John Humphreys bought the property for around £2,000 under the agreement that he wouldn't reopen the inn as a pub. After initially envisaging it as a guest house, he spent the rest of his life here uncovering and restoring the inn's historical features until his passing in 2017. John's daughter Caroline now owns the inn and continues to explore its rich history and strange occurrences. The ancient Ramin's reputation as a hotspot for supernatural activity skyrocketed after its appearance on shows like Ghost Adventures and Most Haunted. Over the years, the numerous paranormal reports at the ancient Ramin include sudden temperature drops, light anomalies, slamming doors, ghostly footsteps, phantom cats, mysterious knocks and bangs, and feelings of unease or sickness. The ghost of a woman believed to have been murdered in the 1500s is said to haunt the bar area, where her body is claimed to be buried under the floor. A ghost known as Edward, often seen as a tall hooded figure, is also said to haunt the building. John Humphreys claims to have been tormented by what he believes was a sex demon or incubus that plagued the inn. As a devout Christian, he carried his Bible everywhere with him for protection, but believed his faith was a beacon, attracting the darker entities that lurked in the inn's shadows. Today, the ancient Ramin stands as a testament to a past that blends history and the supernatural in a unique tapestry. His reputation as one of the most haunted places in the UK continues to draw curious visitors. So here we are, the ancient ram inn, and I'm nervous, but I'm really excited, like more excited than any other ghost hunt I've ever done before, and I'm itching to get in there. But before I go in, I'm just going to jump back in the van and call a friend, Charlene Lowe Kemp, quickly. She's a paranormal investigator, and I just want to get a bit of advice on entering for the first time.
What I would suggest is when you go to the building to knock on the door and go in and say hello, because remember that we're entering not our own space, we're entering somebody else's space, so you're showing respect and you're being polite. And when you're starting off anything, say your name, say why you're there, explain why you're there, say that you mean them no harm is always a good thing to start off with. So I know you're a skeptic, so go a bit more open-minded and say if a floorboard creaks and you think to yourself, that's just a floorboard. It might actually not just be a floorboard, it might actually be a footstep. So always say, if that was you that's just made that floorboard creak, can you do that again for me? So don't cut it off straight away. Don't think, oh no, that was just a floorboard. Always ask, just in case it was them. Then if it happens again, you can explore more with that and say, okay, so it's happened again. Can you make that floorboard go again? But try and just delve into it a little bit more, just in case it isn't just the floorboard. Do you know what I mean?
Right, I can't put this off any longer. I'm going in. Hello, I'm Steve. I hope it's okay to come in. Hello? Oh, it smells weird. Hello? Well, that scared me to start with. Hello, my name's Steve. If there's anyone in this building that can hear my voice, I'm here to meet you. I'd just like to learn about you and kind of have a personal experience as well. If anyone can hear my voice here in the bar, can you give me a sign, a knock or a bang or anything like that? I'm here all night, so please make yourself known. That'd be really appreciated. You can say, not here to judge you, not here to exploit you, just want to know you exist. So from the bar we go into this reception room. So any sign throughout the night, any noise you can make would just be really appreciated. And this is the barn, which is pitch black. There's someone here with me. Will you talk to me later? Gonna go upstairs now, but I'll be back later, okay? It's really nice, I like it. I mean, I don't feel scared at the moment. So this is the witch's room. Is there anyone in this room with me? We'll be back up here later, but if you could show me you're here now, that would be great. I call this room the clock room. I don't know if it is, but it's quite an interesting room. Lots of bits and pieces on the wall. And then through here, perhaps the most infamous of all the rooms, the bishop's room. If I sleep here tonight, it's going to be in here. So if you want to show yourself to me tonight, this is where I'll be most vulnerable. So here we are in the attic, Weaver's attic, and there's
this small attic bedroom. Is there anyone up on this floor with me? Can you knock or bang to let me know you're here? If you could show me, that would be great. Okay, I'll be back later, so hopefully I'll get to talk to you then. One of the most famous stories you think about when you hear about the Ram Inn, I think certainly in recent years, is what happened to Stuart on Most Haunted. He was in the barn, which is kind of just through here, and he was kind of kicked and, well, fell to the ground and felt as if he was being kicked and punched and all sorts. And, you know, Most Haunted, some people love it, some people hate it. You might think it's fake, what happened to Stuart, you might think it's real. Either way, I think we've got to kind of treat Stuart as an alleged witness of something here. And I kind of want to know more about his story, so I'm going to give him a call and just find out what exactly happened to him that night and whether he thinks it could repeat itself 20 years on. I just wanted to talk to you because, you know, whenever anyone mentions ancient Ram Inn, the one name that comes up is kind of yours, because you've got quite a story really with the location, haven't you?
I have indeed. Yes, I could talk for a while.
That's why it's interesting to get your take on it, just to kind of get your opinion of how I should handle it.
Yeah, well, I didn't have an approach. I didn't have a plan. But when John, basically, when we got to the Ram Inn, John was outside talking to myself and the whole team. One of the things he said to me that got my attention was, when you walk over the threshold of the door, and he pointed to it, he says, say hello and be respectful. Just say something nice. So everyone then walked in and said, hello, my name is, you know, we're here today to do an investigation. How are you? Have a nice day, that kind of stuff. Now, I was, I think, the second to last to walk in. I said, hello, my name's Stuart, go f*** yourself. And that was basically as loud as I said it, but no one picked up on me saying that, because as you walk through the door, I think they were wowed by the state of it, really, more than anything. So that's why I don't think anyone heard or paid any attention to what little old me was saying. So, which was good, because I never told anyone neither. I thought, we'll leave this and let's see how this played out. But when we were in the barn, the atmosphere in there was unlike anything I'd ever felt. And I think I can speak for the rest of the people in there. But I do remember saying to everyone in there, I've just seen a dark figure go from one side of the room to the other. But when I saw that image, that's when things changed from that moment on. Because it wasn't long after that, I'm only talking minutes now. It's an almighty force, basically, that hits me in the chest, and I go back. But that's when stuff got real then. And I knew exactly what was going on. And instantly and automatically, when I was getting punched and kicked and having all these blows, I knew it was because of what I said. And the reason I'm saying that is because it didn't happen to anyone else. The only way I can describe it for me, not for anyone else, it's just like being in a war zone. That's how it felt mentally for me at the time. And I'd never been in that situation. Might sound a bit dramatic, but that's how it was at the time. When I look back, years down the line, it probably wasn't as dramatic as I thought, but
yeah, because I guess fear and panic would have been playing on your mind, so that might have escalated the experience a lot for you in itself.
Of course it would, because that's what people do in situations that they're not control of. Panic and fear sets in.
So this behind me is the barn, which is where that incident happened. And it just makes me wonder if perhaps Stuart, you know, sort of fear and panic just got the better of him, and really it was nothing more than a panic attack. But then, you know, a panic attack is still scarily real, and that's not something I want to experience while here on my own in the dark tonight. So I'm going to head back out to the van quickly and just give Chris French a call and just find out what he thinks as a psychologist I've kind of let myself in for tonight. So I have spoken to some friends who are ghost hunters, and they've told me to, you know, be respectful and careful when I go in. because there are these stories of these kind of dark and sinister entities that lurk in the inn. So with that in mind, do you think there's any risk for me tonight?
Well, I think the only risk really is from your own imagination, personally. That would be my view of it. But that's not to say that that's not a real risk. I mean, it can be a real risk. I mean, I kind of find the idea of, well, knowing the kind of tricks that your own mind can play on you is almost as scary as the prospect of real ghosts. I mean, if you're hallucinating, then it feels real, and that's what matters. It's what's real to you at that point in time. That's the important thing. So, as I say, the risk I would see, if any, would be that you can get yourself into a panic, get yourself into a state. I mean, I know you've had one or two experiences that you found disconcerting, but in general, given the number of places that you've been to in the past and really not experienced anything, if I had to place a bet on it, I would bet that you're probably going to have a similar disappointing evening, in the sense that you're not going to encounter any kind of, or even think you've encountered any kind of spirits or anything. But, who knows?
With my initial walk around complete, it was time to start setting up for my night-long investigation. With 9 different paranormal experiments to carry out before sunrise, I was wasting no time. To ensure I didn't miss any potential paranormal activity, I rigged the building with static night vision cameras and audio recording equipment.
The great thing about having the place to myself tonight is I can try some things you wouldn't normally get to try if you're here with like a public investigation or a big team of people. And one of the things I wanted to try was to really kind of settle into the building and try and experience it as if I was going about my normal life. So the way I've come up with doing that is to do hourly baseline checks. So I've placed little thermometers at 5 locations around the building, one outside to get the outside temperature, the living room, the men's kitchen, the Mayflower barn, and the witch's room. And each hour I'm going to walk around and write down the temperature on each of those thermometers. The point of this isn't so much about the baseline readings itself, it's more about having to go around and do a mundane task every hour and kind of being focused on that as I walk around, and hopefully opening myself up to any paranormal activity as, I'm kind of going about my tasks in the inn. But obviously I still want to make it as scientific as possible, so I'm using 5 thermometers, and the reason for that is because if you carry one around, it doesn't adapt very quickly to the temperature as you move from room to room. So by placing 5 separate thermometers in each of those locations, they'll already be kind of calibrated to that room, so the readings will be more accurate than if I was walking around with a handheld one. Each of the thermometers is near one of the CCTV cameras I've put in, so I will get the footage of that. But I've also got this, which is a brilliant ghost hunting phone, because I don't know if you can see, but it's actually got an infrared camera built in, which is amazing. So I'll be able to wander around with this camera, and as I take the measurements, just kind of film my perspective of what's happening.
On the hour, every hour, I walked around the property with a notepad and a handheld night vision camera and recorded the temperature in each of the 5 areas.
And witch's room 14.1.
I'd hoped that this mundane task might have opened me up to the spirits of the inn, but nothing strange or unexplained happened during the walkarounds. However, on reviewing the footage, I did notice that each time I checked the thermometer in the men's kitchen, I'd shine my torch around the whole room and into all the dark corners. I did this without fail on each walk around, making me wonder if this was a sign of nervousness. Was being alone in the darkness of the inn getting to me?
So it's coming up 8 o'clock and I'll be doing my first vigil soon, but I've been pretty busy setting up. As you can see, I've put CCTV all around the inn, which is really good, and I can monitor it from here in the investigation hub, which means that if I do an experiment where I want to lock up the building and place a trigger object, I can monitor here while I have a cup of tea and just see if anything's happening, which is great. The house itself has been fine so far. I felt pretty calm and relaxed in there, not scared or freaked out at all. while I was setting the cameras up, I did hear one noise which sounded like this. But I called out as Charlene recommended and said, if that was you, could you repeat it? But there was no repetition, so it didn't seem to be intelligent in nature, and I'm not really sure what the source of it was. It might have just been the door between the living room and the men's kitchen blowing for some reason, but probably not paranormal, but a nice little noise to get me started anyway. But I'm off now to do my first vigil in the men's kitchen, and this is just going to be a back to basics kind of sit and wait calling out session. Hello, my name's Steve. I hope you don't mind me being here. If there's anyone in this building, anywhere, that can hear my voice, why don't you come and join me here in the bar? Let's have a chat. That would be great. I'm not asking you to perform for me. I'm not here to judge you. I want to treat you like a human. Just come and sit with me. Talk to me if you can. Give me a sign you're here. Can you knock on something? Anything you can do would be really appreciated. Any sounds you can make, any indication that you're here. You won't be judged. You won't be exploited. You won't be exercised even. You're very welcome to be here. You're very welcome to be here with me tonight. In fact, I'm counting on you being here with me tonight. It's me and you. It's a lock-in. We're here together. I'm going to be here all night, so there's no pressure to do it now. You're welcome to just come close to me, get comfortable with me being here. Later tonight, maybe if you want to make your presence known, you're very welcome to do that. I might even sleep here tonight. Is that good? Are you pleased about that? Would you rather I didn't?
I decided to change my approach halfway through and started to use a Tascam audio recorder with a pair of headphones. The idea is to make it possible to hear electronic voice phenomena, or EVP, in real time. EVPs are believed by some to be the voice of spirits communicating through electronic means from beyond the grave.
I'm going to put that there so I know I'm not interfering with that and creating any noises myself. If there's someone here with me, can you maybe talk into this device for me, please? If you're somewhere in this room or in this building and you can hear my voice, you should know it's you I'm here to talk to. Wherever you are, if you can hear me, I want to talk to you tonight. So if you can give me a sign by knocking maybe. I heard a bang then. If that was you, can you do it again, please? Come on, we've got about 5 more minutes now before I move around. So if you're in this bar area with me, you know I'm not going to hurt you now. I've been here a while. So if you can come towards me, give me a sign that you're here.
As the session came to an end, I left the men's kitchen feeling slightly deflated.
So I've done my first vigil. I think it's fair to say it was kind of a little underwhelming. Nothing happened. But it was light when I was doing that one. It is starting to get dark now. So it is starting to get a little bit more atmospheric and a little eerier. Although I've got to admit the inn still doesn't feel particularly scary or intimidating. I've just done my hourly walk round and felt as relaxed as I was previously in there. But I'm going back in now and I'm going up to the top floor to the Weaver's attic to do another vigil. So in the dark, in the attic, might be a different ball game. But I'm not going alone. Taking this chap with me. This is actually a kid's toy. It's like a Segway, a self-balancing robot. But it's gesture controlled. So if you kind of gesture it to come near you, it works with infrared and it will follow your hand. So the reason ghost hunters like this is because They believe that ghosts can control it too with gesture, which is what we're going to test up in the attic tonight. So I'm ready, robot's ready, we're off. Right, we're upstairs in the attic bedroom, and I've got a little robot to use. So I'm going to put that here. So at the moment, the robot's just rocking backwards and forwards, and that's kind of what he does, unless something triggers him. So if there's anyone here with me, anyone in this building that can hear my voice, anyone in the attic, anyone in the rooms below me, can you come towards my voice, please? For the first part of the vigil, nothing happened at all. The robot just gently rocked backwards and forwards, which it does to maintain its balance. Then, about 10 minutes in, that's it. Yeah, went forward a bit then. Oh, there we go. That was good. See if you can do a bit more. Oh, that was good. Do you make him spin round then? See, it doesn't hurt, does it? It's just a bit of fun. He's facing the door now. Maybe you can make him go out of the door. Can you make him go forward out of the door?
Although the robot did make a few more slight turns and short movements forwards and backwards, none of the movements showed any sign of intelligence and seemed more random than anything. The robot certainly wasn't moving on demand, just at random points while I was calling out.
So I've been up to the attic. The robot was pretty quiet. It did move a bit, but nothing really to write home about. It was another really quiet one, actually. So I feel I need to raise the energy in the ancient ram in tonight. And this is one thing I really wanted to try, because obviously I've got the building to myself. I wouldn't normally be able to do this with a group of people. So I'm going to go up to the witch's room and I'm going to do a DJ set, because why not? I did run this idea past some friends earlier, so I asked Charlene what she thought about DJing in the inn. Well, in terms of showing them who I am and my energy, I was thinking of doing some DJing while I was here.
Well, after a good night in a pub, if a pub's normally haunted, the energy from the DJing equipment and the music and the atmosphere is normally what triggers the activity straight after they've locked up.
Well, I just thought it was worth a try, because, people go in week after week, they all do the same things, say the same things. And I just thought, if someone was coming in, putting on a show, playing some music for me, that might get my attention as a ghost and kind of draw me out. I also spoke to ghost hunter Barry Dodd, star of the Parapod movie, who also had some tips on what to play tonight.
It's a good idea. What music are you thinking of playing?
Well, I thought I might drop the Ghostbusters theme, and I don't know, just some sort of uplifting house to raise the energy.
Erasure are very, very good at something.
Oh, I could do some Erasure for you, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, a little respect.
Yeah.
A little respect for the dead.
Okay, I can't guarantee any Erasure for rights reasons, but I have got some songs to play, I've got my decks with me, and I'm going to go up to the witch's room, and I'm going to do a DJ set at the Ancient Ram Inn. If anyone's in this building that wants to be part of a little bit of a party, why not come along? Right, come on then, if you're here, make some noise. This has got to be better than when haunted happenings come here, right? This is a bit more interesting. Come and say hello, come and show me you're here. I mean, I can't do requests unless you can talk to me. I'd love to play you a request. I'm guessing this isn't your favourite type of music. Come on, witch's room, make some noise! Okay, try this instead. Maybe you like this. going out to anyone dead or alive tonight. I don't know what it is, majestic. If you're here, try and show yourself if you can. Let me see those moves. Come on, show me your moves. This is mental. It's Thursday night, we're live at the Ancient Ramen. Make some noise.
As fun as it was, I couldn't be behind the decks all night. I needed to set up a trigger object experiment, which I hoped might appeal to some of the spirits of the inn.
So, gonna set up some trigger objects. This is a Victorian lead burial cross. So I'm gonna leave that here for you to look at. It's just some flowers so I can see if it's moved. Nothing to hurt you. So I'm gonna leave here now. But feel free to come and have a look at that if you like, and I'll be back in a little bit.
That was fun and something I'll never forget. I did a DJ set at the Ancient Ram Inn. Weird and memorable, but actually not as novel as I thought. I thought this was really unique, but it turns out Caroline has parties here quite frequently and she brings in decks, and she says she's had that place vibrating playing music, and when she does, stuff does actually happen. So it does seem to be a valid approach. I'm officially on my break now and just chilling out in the investigation hub, which is a great spot to monitor an experiment I've just set up. So in the men's kitchen, I've placed a small religious artifact with 2 cameras trained on it, and the idea is spirits may be able to interact with that and move it. So I've just been keeping an eye on it. Nothing yet, but it's only been 10 minutes, so still early days. Next, I'm going to get on with my next experiment, which is a little bit weird, but it was something suggested by Charlene. I'll let her explain.
I also think it's important as well to mention to him that you're not there for any fame, fortune, or gain from them.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it is to me. It's not about fame or fortune. I'm not one of these egos who runs like a ghost hunting channel on YouTube. And I'm not even really trying to capture evidence tonight, because I think even if, you got the holy grail of an apparition walking past the camera, I don't think that would convince anyone, because, it could be fake, it could be doctored with just me here on my own. No one knows the conditions I was in. It could be a shadow or something explainable. So, it doesn't really prove anything. So the aim of this isn't to kind of capture evidence. It's for me to have an experience and kind of get an understanding of what other ghost hunters experience in these kind of places, really.
But I'll always turn the camera off, maybe after an investigation or even before we start, and be like, right, come on then, let's do something now. There's no cameras on. It's just some proof for ourselves that you are here with us.
So it might be worth doing a few vigils then without any cameras at all.
Yeah.
And do you think if I turn the cameras off, could I still have a hidden little microphone to record the audio, or would it know?
Probably not.
So basically, I'm going to go in there, stir up some ghostly activity. You won't be able to see it, but it's in the name of science. Hello, it's me again. Can I do something a bit different now? Got this cloth. I'm going to cover up my camera. So I'm not recording you at all now. It's just me and you. I'm going to spend some time here, and hopefully we can connect, if that's okay with you. So this isn't about fame or fortune or exploiting you. Like I said, I'm not even recording you now. Just me and you here on our own. The camera's covered up. But if you could do something to give me a sign that you're here, move something in the dark, tap on something, try and speak or whisper in my ear, maybe even show yourself in the darkness. I'm just going to sit here for a while, and if you want to come towards me, then feel free to do so. So I went in, I had no recording equipment, and you missed, well, nothing. But it's not going to stop me. I'm going back in, and I'm going to take this with me this time. It's a spirit box, which normally I wouldn't use because I'm quite skeptical of these things. But in an attempt to be open-minded tonight, I'm going to go in and give it my best shot to communicate with the spirits at the inn with this little faulty radio. I'm going to use this device this time, which is called a spirit box. So if you're somewhere in this building, please come towards me, come into this room, come up here into the Weaver's attic, take a stool at this table with me, and if you can, try and speak to me through this box. After a while, I decided to turn the spirit box off, and almost immediately I started to hear a strange, repetitive tapping sound coming from a very specific part of the attic. Okay, let's try something else instead. I've got a little audio recorder in front of me with a little red light on it. So if you haven't got enough energy to scream out loud at me now, so are you tapping? I placed an audio recorder near to the source of the sound. I can hear you tapping. Can you make it louder? That's really good. Good, thanks sir. So what did I make of the spirit box? Absolutely useless, did nothing at all. 10 minutes wasted. And you know what? While I was wasting those 10 minutes, there was genuinely interesting stuff going on around me that was probably being drowned out by the spirit box. So as soon as I shut it off, I heard a really unique and unusual tapping. I've never heard tapping like that before. It was really, really weird. It was loud enough for me to hear with my ear. It was picked up on the lapel mic. It was picked up on the audio recorder. So I've got a good record of it. And it went on for quite a long time, about 2 minutes in total. But it just seemed to be coming from the chimney breast. I have no idea what was causing it, why it was happening. Unfortunately, it didn't seem to be responsive, so it's not really convinced me of much, but it's definitely unexplained, and it was definitely weird activity. But anyway, after all that work, it's time for another break, so I'm going to go in now and set up another trigger object experiment. During the 2 o'clock hour, I set up another trigger object experiment using a sage smudge stick, the type used in witchcraft. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here for a little while, and I'll come back later and see how you're getting on with it, okay? Thank you for anything you can do.
Early on, 5 strange knocks were caught on camera. just as an atmospheric sensor signaled a drop in temperature. The sound repeated itself as single knocks a few seconds later. Then, around the 10-minute mark, the sound can be heard again. The best way I can describe these sounds is as if something was being shaken. Despite the audio phenomena, the trigger object didn't move during the experiment, and no other movement was captured on camera. The ancient Ramin's eerie mummified cat is well known. Now on display in a glass case in the living room, it was discovered by John Humphreys in a fireplace in the bishop's room. But did you know that the Ramin is also home to some mummified rats? During some downtime, I ventured into a normally locked room, the old hayloft, which still holds much of John's files and research relating to the inn. The cluttered room is also home to 4 mummified rats. So most haunted were here 20 years ago, and Stuart felt he was attacked in the Mayflower barn. The reason he feels he was attacked was because he disrespected the spirits when he first walked into the inn. So I wanted to find out from Stuart whether he thought I should be respectful and polite, or whether it would be best to follow in his aggressive footsteps in order to drum up some activity. Here's what he said.
I think personally, you've got to go in there as you. Because you're not a bad person. You're not an aggressive person by nature. You're very calm and relaxed kind of guy. I know that. So I think that's what you've got to go in there as.
I guess if I did start becoming aggressive, that might just seem sort of disingenuous and forced coming from me anyway, I guess. And in that case,
yeah, because it's not nature, is it? But having said that, it's not in my nature to be like that, because my character's probably no different than you.
Yeah.
But I think you can do a couple of different things, and then as you're getting more comfortable when you're in there, start being a bit more aggressive, because I know that works now. It works for me.
So we're now into the small hours of the morning. I've had some interesting things happen, but nothing mind-blowing. So I think it's now time to say goodbye to Mr. Polite Guy and go for the all-out F-bomb, I think. I think that's the way to do it. And I'm a little bit nervous, but the place I'm going to do it really has to be the barn, because it's worked there before, apparently. So I'm going to go in now and give that a shot, and hopefully I'll come out alive. The barn is by far the darkest room in the inn. The lights you see in this picture are infrared and invisible to the naked eye. I've been here hours, and you f***ing why don't you go f*** yourself? You're supposed to be a strong, powerful ghost. You've beaten people up in this room. And tonight you can't even knock? Come on, you coward. F***ing lightweight. Come on, for f***'s sake, do something. F***ing disgrace. Come on, you coward, do something. Oh, just go f*** yourself if you can't do it. Come on, do something. And wherever you are in this building, come into this room with me now. Man up. Come in here and show yourself. Commander, I've come here to see you. Show me some respect and make some noise. This is your chance to prove you're here. Come on. Don't be a f***ing coward.
I have to admit, I had been a little nervous about this aggressive approach, but once again it failed to yield any results, so I'm gonna have to take it to the next level. If you thought that DJing here was mad or that my aggressive approach was dangerous, then what I'm about to do next might shock you. What was that? Where was I? What I'm about to do next might shock you.
I'm going to go up to the bishop's room and I'm going to mess a little bit with the demon that's said to lurk there. Now, this is the demon that John, the former owner, called a sex demon. And I've been reading in this book, Demons and Demonology, about succubus, because there's an incubus and a succubus. An incubus is a male demon that attacks women, and a succubus is a female demon that attacks men. So I'm assuming if I'm going to be attacked, it's going to be by a succubus. So this book says that a succubus is a demon who takes the form of a beautiful woman in order to seduce men. And it doesn't sound too bad. Succubi appear in the flesh as beautiful, voluptuous women. They visit men in their sleep, especially men who sleep alone, which I will be tonight. They cause erotic dreams, nightmares, and nocturnal emissions. And in case you're wondering, it goes on to say the sex act itself with a succubus was said to be an awful experience, like penetrating a cavern of ice. Now, I spoke to Barry Dodds earlier, and he said this.
I think if it was me, the way I would do it would be to, do the usual things, do the usual investigating techniques, but then just try and live in the house in the building for a night. Just try and let yourself become relaxed and try and, just make yourself as open and as available to whatever may be in there as possible. Maybe try and sleep, because of course we know the stories of, the succubus and things like that. These are all things that tend to come, when people are, asleep. So, maybe try making yourself completely vulnerable, and you can't be more vulnerable as when you're asleep.
So I am going to take his advice and I am going to sleep in the bishop's room. But there's something I want to do first. Barry Dodds said, you can't be more vulnerable than when you're sleeping. But I think there is one other way you could make yourself more vulnerable. And it's a bit mad, but I think I'm going to give it a try. I don't know what could be more vulnerable than being naked in an unfamiliar place. My mic pack's out of my pocket. I'm vulnerable now. You gonna do something to me? This is your opportunity. Come on, you won't get this chance again. I was exposed and vulnerable for a few minutes before deciding that the ghosts of the ram-in had probably had enough, and I got dressed again. But it was getting late and I had to sleep in this room. Although clothed, I wasn't yet safe from the risk of demonic seduction. Right, well, it's approaching 5 o'clock a.m. It's been quite an amazing day. I mean, I've been here over 12 hours actually, so quite a long time. And I'm now in the bishop's room and it's time for bed. So let's see how this works out, sleeping at the Ancient Ram Inn. Good night. Sleeping in the inn was really the final experiment of the night, and perhaps the biggest challenge of them all. To start with, my rest was peaceful, but after about half an hour in bed, I was awoken from my light sleep by a strange rustling sound. It took me a few seconds to find my torch on the bedside cabinet and turn it on, but once I did, I scanned the room with the beam and couldn't see anything out of place or anything that might have caused the sound. From this point on, I decided to keep my torch in my hand as I slept. It was only about 5 minutes later when I had cause to flick my torch on again. I heard the same rustling sound, but this time more sustained and louder.
I jumped up and saw the dried flowers in the fireplace shaking in the torchlight. I quickly deduced that something must have fallen down the chimney and disturbed the floral display.
So I heard a couple of loud noises in here. And at first I didn't know what it was. But I've just kind of got up in time to see that it was ash or something falling down the chimney. Because I managed to sit up and turn a torch on in time to see the flowers in the fireplace moving. But that's scary.
I was able to confirm this in the morning when I found the flowers' petals were covered in dust that had clearly fallen from the chimney. The rest of the night was peaceful. I didn't have any erotic dreams or nightmares, and I'm pleased to report no nocturnal emissions whatsoever.
So it's just gone 8:30. Well, it's coming up 9 o'clock now. So I did manage to get some sleep, but it wasn't very good sleep. It was pretty fractured. Just the sound of the traffic quite early this morning going right past the window was enough to disturb me. And there was obviously the incident with the fireplace, which was really weird. That was about 5:10, I think. And it happened twice, quite quietly to start with, and then a lot louder the second time. And I caught the dried flowers in the fireplace moving, which so kind of told me that something had fallen down the chimney. But having spoke to Caroline, the current owner of the inn, this morning about that room, that fireplace hasn't been used in at least 50 years, so it's a bit weird that soot would fall down now. So I mean, I don't know if it was paranormal, but it's certainly scary at 5 a.m. But I did it. I survived the night at the ancient Ram Inn, and I'm absolutely shattered. So I am going home.
Back at Higgypop HQ, I begin unpacking the van while reflecting on my night at the inn and my fleeting but curious experiences. From the bang when I was setting up, to the rattling during the trigger object experiment, plus the tapping in the attic and the fireplace incident. Were any of these paranormal in nature? Take a look again, and I'll leave it up to you to decide.
you.